So what is going to bring interest rates down? Two factors. One is an ailing economy, unemployment going up, job losses, consumer spending slowing down to negative territory, or inflation coming down. And we believe actually a combination of both are going to bring interest rates down. But the ailing economy is what we think is going to lead the interest rate cut. But I want to talk about inflation. Inflation, we do believe, is coming down. Despite the stagflation talk, despite that everything is sanguine and good in the economy, probably not the case. So inflation is coming down. What measures inflation? We have a couple metrics: CPI, PPI, and PCE. Consumer Price Index is CPI, Producer Price Index is PPI, and PCE is Personal Consumer Expenditures by Consumers. So these data points are made up of a major point, which is housing. Housing has been causing inflation to remain sticky because it's been remaining high, slowly coming down with everything else, like your goods, your energy prices, your foods, have been coming down at a much faster rate. Now, really nothing is in negative territory where you're seeing deflation. Inflation is just going up at a slower pace, month over month, year over year. So we're still experiencing inflation. It's just happening at a slower pace. So, Consumer Price Index. Why do we think that it is going to come down? And why did I refer to shelter? Let's take a quick look. Okay, here's a little pie graph of Consumer Price Index. What is it made of? Food and beverage, 14%, apparel, 2.51%, transportation, 15.89%. But here, housing, 45%. Housing makes up 45% of the Consumer Price Index. So if we want Consumer Price Index to come down and show up in the data, we need to see that housing metric, that housing data point to come down, and it's just taken a long time. What are they doing when they're calculating this housing metric? They're using something called owner's equivalent rent. Owner's equivalent rent represents the hypothetical rent that owners would have to pay if they were renting their own home. What the heck does that mean? So let me ask you, you own a home, what would you rent your home for? What would you price your home on the market you would ask a renter to pay? That's what they're calling people that have homes, that own homes. They're asking, how much would you list your house on the market for? How much would you want someone to pay you for rent? Now, a lot of homeowners are just speculating on what they hear in the news, what they hear their neighbors renting their home for. They're speculating on current headlines. They're reading the news, they're hearing inflation's high, so therefore they're going to price their home high. And when inflation's down, that's when they're going to price their home lower. Here's a visual of why, and just by that, they're waiting for something material to take place. They're waiting for the fact to happen before they raise their rents, their expected rent, their hypothetical rent, or things that come down and then they're lowering their hypothetical rent. Here's a quick chart of all items and all shelter, all the inflation. You can see in 2021 things started taking off, but the dark line here is shelter, the light blue line is all other items. All other items shot up early in 2021, took off. Shelter took quite a bit longer, and just like it is taking longer to come down. So we just need time. All items can stay down. It can even come back up a little bit. And the 45% of our inflation data is in that shelter part. And it is coming down. It's just going to take a little bit longer. We're going to start to see it more throughout this year. Another reason why we think inflation is likely going to come down, unless we get a geopolitical event where wars intensify in the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, something unexpected happens, China invades Taiwan, really the unexpected takes place. Energy prices could shoot back up. But what have energy prices been doing lately? I mean, they've been coming down today. They're down big. Over the last month, it's down a little over 8%. The energy prices have been trending down really over the last 2 months. It's not spiking back up. You heard some analysts say, oh my gosh, crude oil energy prices are going to go to 100 plus a barrel. Well, we haven't seen that materialize, and really the reason we're going to see that materialize is if that conflict arise, or something that we're just not foreseeing, black swan event that causes transportation costs to really elevate. And then we could see a spike of inflation again while the economy is slowing down, and then that stagflation scenario, which is very unlikely, could manifest, and that would cause us a lot of problems. So with inflation coming down, the economy slowing down, your 30-year mortgage, which we could see up here, is likely going to follow suit as the Fed has cover with the economy or with inflation to cut interest rates. Stick with us next week. We have CPI, PPI information. We're going to run through it and talk about how you could benefit. Expertise you deserve, experience you can count on.